This is so that we can put this on our YouTube page for all of our senators who need to attend these meetings asynchronously. Welcome to our October Senate meeting. As I was saying, this is the last meeting that I'll be calling to order because Autumn Sims is our chief of staff now, and she will be kind of taking over, keeping the machine running from here on out. So you'll be hearing from her starting from November Senate meeting onward. But at any rate, as I said before, please ensure that you're signing in with your name, your program, and your email. Just drop that in the chat. We really appreciate it so we can make sure everyone's getting the emails that we send out. And we will go ahead and get started. As always, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the chat, or you can also direct message them to myself or any of the other officers. We'll get it taken care of. All right, so hopefully everyone has seen the September minutes. If you have not seen the October agenda, Sylvie, is there any way that you can put those updated guidelines into the chat, like that document? We do have one important thing to vote on today. Thank you. In terms of making some amendments to what used to be our travel grant. So Sylvie.
You're muted.
I'm muted again. I don't know what's going on. Sylvie's gonna drop that stuff in the chat. You all feel free to take a look at it. We'll hold a vote on it. She'll go into detail on that. So all that's in the October agenda, but she'll put that in the chat as well. We do have an invited speaker for this month. So our invited speaker is Miss Valerie Dubose from Disability Support Services. She's going to talk to us a bit about what DSS can do for us and how things may have changed and changed back during the pandemic. So Ms. Dubose, I'll pass it over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. If y'all give me a minute to get set up.
And as always, if you all have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can direct message them to me and I'll ask them on your behalf.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So as Jasmine said, my name is Valerie Dubose and I am with Disability Support Services. I want to thank you all so much for having me this evening, and it's great to see everybody virtually. I do, again, want to encourage questions. I know I have about 5-10 minutes to kind of talk a little bit about our services, and then also want to leave some time for questions. So it's my hope that a lot of you or many of you know about our office already, but just to kind of give an overview of the purpose of DSS and what our role is here on campus. So UAB's DSS office, what we do is we're the university appointed office. So we're charged with ensuring institutional-wide advisement, consultation, and training on disability topics, in addition to providing academic accommodations for our students with disabilities. So it's sort of three-pronged what we do. We are serving students, so ensuring accessibility here on campus and in making sure that our students with disabilities have access to accommodations and are having access to an accessible campus. And we do also a lot of work in working with faculty and staff to prevent discrimination to students. So we serve students on providing those academic accommodations, but also we serve faculty and staff in terms of advising and training opportunities to ensure that our faculty and staff here on campus are aware of what their responsibilities are for working with our individuals with disabilities. We do a lot of collaboration with programs here on campus to educate and really work to create a campus culture that embraces disability as part of diversity. We're so lucky here at UAB to be a very diverse campus and really embracing diversity. And we want to ensure that disability is also part of that. And in doing so, we like to collaborate with different offices and programs here on campus to really help spread awareness here on campus, so that our university is accessible and kind of really go beyond compliance is really what our goal is here on campus. One of the things that I like to share, and this is some relatively recent information in terms of the students that we're currently serving. So we have close to 1,200 students who are registered with the office. And these are students who are, this is both undergraduate and graduate students. And so we are growing rapidly. Actually, our registration numbers are growing at a faster rate than UAB's enrollment. So we see that as a great sign that students are accessing the services, their word is getting out that we're here. Students, when one of the issues that used to be with the office is stigma. So we're seeing that being broken a little bit. So we're seeing a big increase in students who are registering. The populations of students, as you'll see on the slide that we've listed, not everything, but we do serve almost 80 different categories of different disabilities. So our biggest populations are our students with learning disabilities, which may include ADHD or any specific learning disabilities, but also one of the faster growing diagnoses or disabilities are our students with psychiatric disabilities, as that's probably no surprise to everybody, but we're seeing a big increase in students with anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder. So we're really seeing a big spike in our students with mental health conditions. We also serve students with medical conditions. That's another really big population of students that we're seeing growing. Those are our students who might have diabetes, migraines, anything that might impact them or their ability to be in class. And that's one of the things that I think that's been helpful is all of this outreach that we've done, because a long time ago, when I started 11 years ago, students really weren't thinking that they would qualify for services. They were thinking those real visible disabilities, and that was the student population that we serve. But it's really the majority of students that we're serving are these students with more invisible disabilities. And along with our growing categories of disabilities and diagnoses that we're serving, so are the accommodations. So we are no longer doing those, I mean, we are still providing those traditional accommodations, but we are going beyond the very common extended time, reduced distraction testing. And this is all based on recent case law and legislation, and really what we're seeing in terms of the current legal landscape in terms of disability accommodation. So students are coming to us with more unique requests, and we are charged with reviewing those requests and interacting with faculty and staff to determine if it's something that's reasonable. So that is a big change within the last few years is the number of different accommodations that we are providing here on campus. So just to go over very briefly, registering with DSS. So as many of you know, in order to qualify or use accommodations here at UAB, students do need to self-identify and register with the office to formally receive disability-related accommodations. And students can do that by visiting our website and completing an online application. It's a brief form that gives us some general information. And then we do ask for students to upload documentation of their disability. And so our guidelines are on our website. So we encourage students to view those, provide those to medical professionals so that students and their doctors have the information in their hands of what we're looking for. And we do ask for some specific information really to be able to, when we're meeting with the student during that planning meeting, to talk through and have a really good understanding, because it is a very individualized process. So everything that we are doing is specific to the student that we're working with, and there's not a menu of services for students with this diagnosis, because as we all know, it impacts individuals differently. So we do meet with students with a accommodation planning meeting to come up with a more formal plan of accommodations. And then really the final step is completing an accommodation orientation, which is just the students' opportunity to learn a little bit more about coordinating these accommodations with their faculty members and how to get everything set up. We do meet and we encourage students because, again, especially our students, our graduate students, some students who might be a little bit more hesitant to connecting with the office, we do meet with students prior to them submitting anything. We'll meet with students for informational meetings to talk through more about the services, what it looks like, how we can support the student while they're here at UAB. So we don't want the registration process to overwhelm anybody from connecting with the office. Just to touch quickly too on confidentiality, it's really important too that we stress the importance and how we follow FERPA. We keep everything confidential. A student's medical information is only housed in DSS. It's not shared with anybody else. So as students are working with faculty on campus and coordinating accommodations, instructors and faculty members don't have any identifying information about a student's disability. So they are just being provided a memo that provides a list of what that student's accommodations are. So that is confidential. A student's registration status with DSS is confidential. So it's not on any kind of transcript. It's not in banner anywhere. So, or BlazerNet. So we want to make sure that students feel comfortable with sharing the information, that their information is kept confidential. So I want to talk about some examples of accommodations. As I mentioned, we have a lot of different accommodations, and I've listed on our screen today sort of our common accommodations. So when students think about DSS, they are our most common really would be testing accommodations. So students who might get some extended time or in a reduced distraction testing environment. We also work with students who might need some assistance with note taking. So that may be setting students up with different apps or recording devices so that they have access to capture lectures in alternative ways than relying on another student in the class. Students who might have conditions where they may have a flare that might impact attendance. And we know that there's some programs here on campus with really strict attendance policies. So we do work with those students and their faculty on maybe some flexibility in terms of absences and what their syllabus may say in terms of how many absences a student may have before it starts impacting grades. Communication access is also one of our more common accommodations, and one that we're seeing an increase in, specifically captioning. So as we know, with moving to Zoom and being masked, a lot of our students who have hearing impairments, maybe not to the level of needing a sign language interpreter, but might have more mild to moderate hearing loss, they were able to rely on reading lips. But now that we have kind of gone virtually, that faculty are wearing masks, students are wearing masks, we've seen a lot of our students who might have been okay with not having any accommodations pre-COVID, but needing some captioning services. So our office does coordinate with those students and their faculty on giving those students the access that they need so that they have the real-time captioning. And that could look very different depending on student. So it could be if it's Zoom, we have a remote captioner who will join Zooms and able to provide that real-time captioning. For on-campus classes, we also are able to send in a captioner who's actually in the classroom. So this is one that we're seeing a lot more students requesting. And we also, our office works with faculty too on captioning videos. So if there's some videos that faculty are wanting to be more proactive, and we're seeing that as well, which is was so great to see that faculty are thinking about that and wanting to be proactive in providing those accommodations. I do want to talk about COVID-19 accommodations because as we've been working, as we've been moved back to campus, our office, as some of you know, we worked with students on temporary adjustments for a few semesters related to COVID. And there's been some rumors swirling that we no longer do COVID-19 accommodations. Now, we still do, but the process does look a little different. So before returning back to campus with different safety measures in place, we were working with different categories of students who might needed some adjustments. And they were called adjustments because they were more temporary. They weren't being provided under the ADA due to a disability. So we were serving students who were high risk, students who might be living with somebody who's high risk. And I think the age was another 60 and older, 65 or older, where it was another category that we were working with in terms of providing some temporary adjustments for those students. What we've done, we've shifted this semester with the return to campus. Students can still request adjustments, or what we're calling now, not really even adjustments, but accommodations. They're more formal accommodations. And these might be due to COVID, and it might be our students who are high risk. We have students who might have conditions where they are unable to get the vaccine. We have students who have had certain types of medical procedures like transplants and things like that, where they are considered high risk. So we are currently working with students who might need some COVID-19 accommodations. What's different this semester is that the process is a little bit more stringent because our obligation is to ensure that these students are meeting the legal definition of disability so that they can be provided these accommodations. So there is some more additional documentation that we're looking for these students who are requesting these accommodations. And we share the guidelines and lay it all out so that their doctors and providers have all the information that they need in order to provide that support for the student. So we are continuing to provide accommodations for students who are in those high risk categories and might need formal accommodations. And as we're seeing too with the news and long COVID and things like that, they're saying that is a disability under the ADA. So we're seeing some shifts in how we handle these and are accepting requests based on COVID needs in our office as well. So I want to make sure that we share that. And I want to make sure I don't go over my time, and I want to leave some time for questions if there are any. But our contact information, we are in the Hill Student Center and here to answer questions. We encourage students to reach out. Our contact information is on the screen. Call, email, come by, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. So thank you all so much, and I'll open the floor if there are any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Dubose. Does anyone have any questions? As I said, feel free to drop them in the chat. I have a couple, if no one else has any. My first thing is about the documentation of disability. Is that, can you kind of expand on what that is? Is that kind of like a formalized note from a medical doctor or a psychologist or something like that?
Sure, that's a great question. And it really depends. So on our websites, we have it broken down into different disability categories. So what we're looking for kind of overall in documentation is that the letter from the provider is something that's being provided by somebody who's qualified to make the diagnosis. So we do want a qualified evaluator who's writing the letter. We're looking for a confirmed diagnosis, how that diagnosis was reached. So assessment information is really important. So if it's more of a mental health condition, what kind of criteria was used to reach that diagnosis? Was there a clinical interview? Was there more formalized testing that was done? So we do really look for that. That helps us in establishing that eligibility. We also like to hear from the doctor from that documentation, how it's impacting that student specifically, academically, or maybe even in the everyday world. I mean, especially if we have students who might need some residential housing type of accommodations. And then it's always helpful for the provider to list some recommended accommodations. And that just kind of helps us all as we work together to determine what is needed for the student as well. So our guidelines are on our website. And like I said, we want to encourage students to print those off, bring those to their provider. And we don't want that to be a barrier for students. We know that they were seeing, and what we're hearing from a lot of students now is just how overworked healthcare providers are. And it has been a little bit difficult for some students to get the documentation as thorough as we need it. So we do work with students. We don't want to be gatekeepers. So we want to do everything we can to help a student. So it might be that we can do some provisional accommodations or help the student get connected with their doctor if we need to call and get some additional information. Those are some strategies that we've been trying to navigate as we see some of these difficulties with getting documentation.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll ask one last question and then we'll let you go. Autumn wants to know, are hospitalizations and illnesses covered under DSS, something like a short-term disability accommodation?
Great question. So this comes up a lot, and I actually had a few this week. So it will really depend. Everything's kind of case by case. So generally what we would do is we do encourage students to reach out to us. And then what we would do is determine, is it something that DSS would handle? Is it something that student, they just changed their name. So Jennifer too might have to help me with it. So it used to be formerly student outreach, student assistance and support services.
That's right.
Okay, I can always remember the acronym and then I have to work backwards. They might be the office that assists. It might be, if it's something really, really short term, it might be that the faculty member is just able to help. So it's going to depend. I'm sorry, I can't give a clear answer, but we would just encourage students to reach out to us and we would just determine who would be the appropriate office to help facilitate. And then if there's anything beyond that hospitalization, we would definitely do some temporary accommodations once the student returns back, if that's something that's needed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you for your time. We'll make sure that Ms. Dubose and the Disability Support Services contact information is in the minutes. So if you all have any questions that you think of later or that didn't get answered today, feel free to send them an email.
Yes, please feel free to reach out directly, especially if anybody has any specific questions too that we were able to answer today. Thank you everybody for having me today and hope you all have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I got to stop sharing my screen so I can turn
I think I can do it from here. Okay. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So we're going to try to get through all of the executive committee reports in 30 minutes. So could be a wild ride. Hang in. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or interrupt if it's a simple question. We'll kind of, I'll manage the chat, make sure everyone's questions get answered. So I will go first. I have a couple of things. First thing is updates from September's Faculty Senate meeting. Most of the stuff is related to the pandemic. So that's part of the reason that I had DSS come and speak. Someone in the meeting had mentioned that they discontinued their COVID-19 kind of accommodations. And as you can see, that's not necessarily the case. But a couple things are that our COVID workforce is still monitoring cases, particularly after Labor Day. There will be no implementation of contact tracing for positive individuals, and there also will be no return of sentinel testing. So I had gotten a couple questions from people about that. I think the sentinel testing didn't really work out how Dr. Faircloth and the rest of our medical team expected. So we're kind of done with the sentinel testing. 68% of resident students have their first dose and 61% of the general student population have their first dose. So if you're on the fence about getting your first dose, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to put you in contact with Dr. Faircloth or someone else who can have a well-informed conversation with you about your decision. Discontinuation of the health check. If you all are still getting the health check and you don't work in the clinical medical enterprise, I checked and you just don't respond to the messages after about 2 or 3 days, they'll just stop coming. The passport also has been discontinued because we're not doing health check. So you shouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. The mask mandate was set to end on October 1st. I haven't heard, thank you, Gunnars. I haven't heard about if the mask mandate has been extended. I've also heard that booster shots are being offered to people who are in high risk populations. So right now that's people, including professors, of course, over the age of 65 and individuals with immunocompromised who have, immunosuppressive medications or whatever that they're taking. I will get back to everyone on whether the mask mandate was extended. This just reminded me to check on that. I haven't heard anything, so I will check on that. And as far as enrolling for a booster shot, I will get back to everyone about that as well. As I said, right now, it's mostly prioritized for individuals who are 65 and older, and then those who are immunocompromised.
Jasmine, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
So I tried the booster shot because I'm going to travel. So if you've taken the Pfizer vaccine, you can it's a walk-in at the Spain Wallace center where I believe the Pfizer vaccine was being given before, and you can just walk in, show them your immunization card, fill out a form, and get the booster shots. I do not know the hours. I went around lunchtime and I was told it is open all day, every day. So yeah, we can look into that information and share.
Yeah, we can get all that information out to you all, hopefully before the end of the week. So keep an eye on your emails for that.
It's Spain Wallace. I went to Margaret Spain auditorium and they directed me to the Spain Wallace. It's behind Callahan Eye Hospital, if I'm not wrong, on 7th Avenue. But yeah, we'll share details.
Ooh, a lot of questions in there. Kayor, if you could handle those questions, that would be great. I'll keep moving. I'm also part of the student advisory board, which is essentially a meeting of all of the heads of the various student organizations on campus. And so a couple of updates from our last 2 meetings. The first is that we are in progress of getting preferred names available to get put on UAB1 cards. We were able to kind of make some progress in terms of allowing individuals to get their preferred pronouns on their 1 cards, but we are right now, I think Dr. Wallace is looking into getting preferred names on 1 cards. You can get your preferred name on your diploma, and we're working on getting the same thing done for your 1 card. So that's something that I'll report back on. There have been some changes to dining hours as well for those of you that use the dining facilities. Please just check out the dining locations hours webpage that's listed here, and you can kind of keep up with any changes to the dining facilities there. The next thing is that for those of you that have been with us for the past year plus, you know that we've been, particularly our last secretary, Megan Jenkins, was really passionate about this UAB Care signage. And we're really excited to announce that all of the signs that we've helped to fund have been put up. So you can see these signs in the 12th Street parking deck on that kind of sky bridge that goes between Lister Hill Library and the nursing building. And then also in I believe that's the 19th Street parking deck over by the Shelby building as well. So if you see these signs, feel free to scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to the UAB Cares website. Plenty of useful resources there. Next to last thing, I think we have a YouTube page. It's up and running. For those of you that have noticed, I've been recording the meetings. I know that we have some senators who have night classes or are otherwise busy during this time. We want to make it as easy as possible for you all to attend the meetings asynchronously as you need to. So we will be putting these recordings on our YouTube page. You can look us up as UAB Graduate Student Government. And as you can see right now, we have our August and September Senate meetings up there, and I will get this one up hopefully by the beginning or end of next week. Next week is busy for me. Last thing, maybe I forgot how many slides I had. 3-minute thesis is coming up very soon. The 3-minute thesis competition is, as the name suggests, you have 1 slide and 3 minutes to tell everyone about your thesis in the most captivating way possible. It's super cool. And any active PhD and professional doctorate candidates who have done their qualifying exam essentially can participate. Master students can also participate as long as you have an original research project. If you've already graduated, then you're not eligible, but you're probably also not at this meeting. If you are interested, Monday is the registration deadline. You can also sign up for a practice session with Kim Eaton, who's really great, until October 22nd. The first competition will be the 25th. I think it'll be in the Lister Hill Library in their kind of big conference room. The semifinals will be October 28th. I think those will also be in that conference room. And then on November 4th will be the finals, and that will be held, I believe, in the Hill Student Center auditorium. So those will actually be in person. And so because we're all motivated by money, the winner can get $1,000, the runner-up gets $750, and People's Choice gets $500. Our own Kayor vice president was People's Choice last year before, I believe. So if you have any questions about the process, feel free to ask him about it. He did really well. Covered up my words, but there are some university-wide committees who are looking for representatives. I really appreciate everyone's enthusiastic responses last time I reached out to everyone. So I'm going to try to do my best to keep everyone up to date on what committees are looking for representatives. Right now we have two, the Student Advisory Board, and you can read here, it's really mental health based, and you're going to work with student counseling services. If anyone is interested in that, feel free to either send me a direct message here or an email. And then there's also the Peaceful Assembly Work Group. And this work group is going to help develop peaceful assembly educational resources and guidelines for students who are interested in forms of activism. For all of our university-wide committees, I'd ideally like to have one primary person and one alternate. So I will say that the first two people that contact me about either of these opportunities can have them. I cannot possibly attend every single meeting, and if none of you do, then they expect me to, and that's just not going to happen. So please, thank you. Please feel free to contact me if you're interested in either of these, and I will plug you in with the appropriate people. I think the last thing is that I sent out a senator and member information survey. Please feel free to still fill that out if you'd like to. It's really helpful for us in terms of keeping track of how many senators we have, especially after COVID. We have 80 people on our email list, and we heard from 30 of you, which is great, but I would really love to hear from more of you. If you haven't done the survey, it literally takes less than 3 minutes. Please do put this link in your browser and get that taken care of. I did mention that one person would be randomly chosen to receive a GSG swag pack, and that person is Jesse Barra. So Jesse, if you're in the meeting, I know where you work at. That sounds really creepy. I'm sorry. I'll bring the swag pack to you because I know where you are. So if you're not in the meeting, then I'll see you sometime next week and I'll bring that to you. That is all that I have, and I'll pass it over to Kayor.
Hello, welcome. If you are coming to this meeting for the first time, I'm Vice President Kayor Savla. Go to the next slide, please. Perfect. So I recently got my health promotion officer training done. This is my fancy certificate that I got. And I would recommend all student group leaders to request either one of your members to attend it. On the slides are some times for the future. And I will put the link with more details in the chat. Jasmine, could you please put the link? If not, I can add it after the slide.
Yes,
and that is all for the slide. So for GSG, I can serve as the health promotion officer, but I would recommend all the other committee chairs because I won't be able to attend every event and meeting. So I would recommend all the other committee chairs to either do the training or find someone in your committee who can do and help you. Just some tips for the student involvement fair that we had recently, graduate student involvement fair. Get help from UAB Pathfinders. They were a super helpful group to help and organize everything. Alex Bushery, the email there is something, is a person for point of contact. And we are also planning a spring involvement and leadership involvement fair, graduate student involvement fair, and I'll be using their help. And also they can help you with the health promotion officer stuff as well. This is like a short document I'm putting on the chat. This is in no way replacing the health promotion officer training, but just in case if you don't have training or don't have an officer at hand and you're still planning an event, please look at this document. This would be very helpful in deciding what you should and should not be doing. Go ahead to the next slide. This is just photos from the involvement fair. It was super successful. We had a bunch of people join and sign up. And yeah, if you missed it, please feel free to reach out. And the next slide, please. So the spring graduate student orientation / involvement fair, I've already booked it. Will happen on January 19th, 2021. If you are interested in serving on the orientation committee for that, please do send me an email. It will happen in Hill Student Center, ballrooms, and more details to follow as we reach that date. Next slide. And for new senators who are new to this meeting, or any of your friends who are interested to know more about GSG or the Senate meetings or become a senator, etc. If you are the only senator in your department, then you need to encourage other your friends to join. And so please share this info with them. I'm sending the Zoom meeting ID on the chat, and the meeting happens every first Wednesday of the month, right before the Senate meeting from 4:30 to 5 p.m. So they can learn about GSG and the Senate and potentially see how they can participate and be involved. That's all for me, I believe. And if there are any questions, do send them in the chat. I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, KR. Adam.
Hey, everybody. We can go to the next slide. Thanks so much, Kara and Jasmine. So I want everybody to take a look at the big word on the screen in the green font and tell me what you're well, hypothetically, talk to yourself. This is rhetorical, but I want you to think about your definition of the above. What does that mean to you? And what key factors allow you to either exceed in this category, or what things can you improve upon? Do you have any opportunities for improvement in this area? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's totally okay, because this is just a thought exercise. We can go to the next slide. That word is just communication, but it's in the wingdings font that no one ever uses on Microsoft Word. And I'm trying to illustrate the point that this quote from George Bernard Shaw points out: the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taken place. So it's just food for thought. Be mindful that sometimes you might think you've gotten the message across, and really nobody has any idea what you're talking about. So, I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes, and we all can be guilty of that. So it's, just important, especially now when so many more things are virtual that haven't been virtual, to always go above and beyond to try and be as clear and concise in your statements as possible. And, I threw in a meme here because, of course. But if we go to the next slide, I've got a volunteer opportunity that I did want to spread the word about. This is at Firehouse Shelter, and this is a fantastic organization that serves some very underserved people in our community that really need help and are generally very grateful for the help. It's been a fantastic way for me to get outside my own comfort zone, and it continues to help me grow in new and exciting ways through the people that I meet there that I'm just very grateful to know. So if you'd like to be involved, you can work with your own new project. If you want to start something, I can put you in touch with the director. If you'd like to work with me, I go there on Friday nights and teach guitar lessons and lead a small group after dinner as well. And then there's also existing opportunities that you can do through Firehouse. They've already got them set up for you, and they just need the help. We'll go to the next slide. We're going to be continuing our audit of senators and essentially trying to figure out exactly who we have in the ranks that's active. And for any new members or even existing members, I'd love to have your support if you'd like to be involved and participate. This would be great, particularly for somebody who might be new to GSG, want to get involved, and maybe be thinking about a leadership position for the next year. This would be a fantastic way to go ahead and see what it's like to have a little bit more ownership and responsibility within the organization. And personally, I would really appreciate the help. So feel free to contact me if you'd like to get involved. Lastly, just as a little housekeeping tidbit, my goal is to respond to any email within about 24 hours, especially if it's during, the normal 8 to 5. If it's after 5 on a Friday, probably won't get to you till Monday, but I will do my best. And if I happen to check my email on the weekend, you can expect I'll probably send you a reply. If you have something urgent though, please just pick up the phone, call me on my cell, call me on my office phone, whatever works. I'm always going to be near either this or this. So there's never a scenario that I can imagine where I wouldn't get back to you within about 4 hours of getting some kind of SOS from you. So seriously, don't hesitate to contact me if you need anything. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. Elise is away today. She's actually doing some work in the ocean. So I'll present her slides for her. I think you all kind of know the drill. So this is our fiscal year 2020-2021 spending. And we should be getting our updated budget for the next fiscal year sometime soon. If you have any questions about this, feel free to contact Elise. I don't know how any of this works, and she's the expert. As far as the budget committee goes, this is also the step funding for all of our student groups. If you have any questions about this, again, please contact Elise. And this is more step funding. Again, please feel free to contact her if you have any questions or concerns about that. I've also moved, usually Sylvie goes later in the meeting, but she's got an action item for us. So I've moved her slides up. So Sylvie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jasmine. Hi, everyone. So if you go on the next slide, we have a new name for our GSG award. The new award is now called the GSG Professional Development and Travel Award. Thank you, everyone that submitted their ideas and suggestion. We are moving forward with this name. And if we go to the next slide, we also updated the guidelines to reflect the new award appropriately. We are keeping most things the same. So how you get selected, exclusion criteria, all of that is staying the same. However, what the award can be used for is what we are expanding on. So these are like the key things you see here that were changed in the new guidelines. So this award can be used for participation in professional conferences. It can be used for training or taking a class or a professional development workshop. However, it cannot be a UAB credit generating activity. So you cannot use this to pay for your tuition. You can use this to purchase books that are necessary for your degree or research, or you can use it to purchase software. It cannot be used for hardware, so it cannot be used to purchase a laptop, tablet, or pay for any maintenance on your laptop. And then the next slide is, let's vote on this. Jasmine sent this out, I think, a couple of days ago, so I hope everyone got a moment to briefly read over it. I also put it in the chat. If there's anything, please speak now. Or
Sabrina has a question. She wants to know if you'll be able to use it for field classes that you can take at a field station, but still would count towards UAB credit.
No, it cannot be used for UAB credit.
All right, I think I launched the poll. So if you all have any questions, keep dropping those in the chat, but we're gonna keep moving and I will share the results of the poll at the end of the meeting. Go ahead, Sylvia, I saw that question.
Study abroad, we have never had that before. So I would have to check with the graduate school. I think if it is a study abroad and it's part of your academics, then no, because UAB can't use UAB's money to pay for UAB stuff kind of deal. That's where it gets complicated. But if that is something you are interested in, I would be happy to reach out to the graduate school finance department and see if that's something, it's a yes or no kind of deal. The next thing is that I mentioned this last time, but just so everyone knows, there's a new payment request form. It is on the GSG website. It's also included in the guidelines. I will also send it to all people that receive the award. But basically, instead of emailing your receipts, now there's a form you can submit them. And this is already online. Next slide. Things we are, or I'm actively working on. I am working with the webmaster Gunnar on updating the website. Most things are already on there, but we're still tweaking a few more things. If the new guidelines get approved, I will open the award up on the October 8th, so Friday, and close it on October 29th, and inform applicants if they were awarded or not by mid-November. So please spread the word once we have officially released the flyer. And if we go on the next slide, you guys can see the flyer. So application is going to be the same through Engage. It's going to be a 3-week period where you can apply. No awards are awarded until everyone has applied and the application is closed. Awards are awarded randomly based on the amount of awards we can give. Usually that's around 30. So if there aren't any other questions, that is all I have for you guys today.
Thank you, Sylvie. This flyer looks really good also. All right, I'll pass it over to Tandy.
Hey everybody, it's good to see everyone. We
Oops,
have
sorry.
been, it's okay. No, we have been pushing the flyers. In fact, a lot of the flyers you saw were collaborations. Our business is actually helping you advertise and make sure whatever event or whatever thing you want posted on social media happens. And Sylvie had a great idea of coming up with a new flyer. So she sent some designs, our committee worked on it, edited it, and then you just saw the final flyer. So if you're interested in getting into marketing and promoting our brand, I would really love it if you joined us on October 12th, which is next Tuesday at 4 p.m. via Zoom. And actually just join us for our meeting. You can email me and I'll sign you up for our list. We're going to be collaborating a little bit with social activities this year, especially with homecoming coming up. The theme, is we built this city. And since I've been in Birmingham for as long as I have, I've definitely seen the UAB Enterprise take over the Magic City. So I think the theme is highly appropriate. They're going to be, I think we got a flyer coming up for social activities in a minute, but we're going to be partnering with Lee and her committee and actually celebrating homecoming and also getting ready for Halloween because, it's great fall and I think we're all tired of the rain. So we're going to be doing a trick-or-treating event. But the biggest thing that we really ask from our committee is if you see a flyer, if you see a post on social media, say it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, please share. When I look at the data and I look at the analytics, we can't over communicate. And that goes back to what our Secretary Adams stated. Over communicate our brand. The more people who hear about us, the more people who show up to our meetings, the more people who are involved, the greater things we're doing. So if you have any questions, email me, okay?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Matt.
All right, sorry, it might be a little rough. I'm not in a place I can turn my video on, but so I just have 2 things real quick. We have a committee meeting coming up on Monday at 2:30. It should be a super quick meeting. I mean, I'm not planning on more than 20 minutes. We're just gonna maybe do some quick introductions because there's some new faces, and then maybe brainstorm some ideas if somebody has an organization in mind that they want to work with, and then talk about projects and things that we have coming up. Along that line, we have the booth at the zoo. We're going to be helping out there on October 30th from 12 to 4. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to work on a flyer and put it together, get it out over to the other committees so that they can make it look better than anything I could do. And then I'll get that out to y'all. And we can get out on social media and such. But that's everything I've got. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. All right, next up is Sam.
Hey everyone. So there's been some changes made to the Constitution, and then we also have a proposal. So the first part is, as Sylvie talked about, there's been some changes to the travel grant. So we've changed anything that talks about a travel grant officer is now called a GSG awards officer. And then the term travel grants is, as the title changed, professional development and travel award. So that's the only change that has occurred so far. And then there is some issues with the budget committee not having enough voting members. So we're currently working on creating an addendum to that. The current phrasing is as seen here below in number 1. So the goal is essentially to get this voted on next meeting so that we can actually have enough voting members in the budget committee. So that phrasing may change by then, but that's the general concept.
All right.
What I
Thank you,
have.
Sam. Do you have more?
That's everything.
Okay. And for everyone, we'll put this wording into the minutes so that you all can take a good look at it before next meeting. And next meeting, we will take a vote on this. I don't think that Sachin is here today. I think he wasn't feeling well, but I don't think that he had any updates. He's still looking for members for his committee. So if you're interested in professional development and leadership and helping him out with some workshops and that kind of thing, please reach out to him or reach out to me, and I can certainly put you in touch with him as well. Oh, he did have updates. Cool. So there's a speaker for the next PDL event, who will be Dr. Kareem Budwani, who is a CEO and scientist at Surflux. I actually believe that that was a company that was actually started from some findings here at UAB. So it's going to be a really cool event. And then there are some updates to the website. And when it's completed, it should look something like this, which looks pretty cool. And again, if you want to be a part of the PDL kind of team, please feel free to reach out to Sachin and he'll get you all set up. Again, he is looking for members, so send him an email. He would love to hear from you. Tandy, were you going to take over Lee's slides?
I am. Again, she apologizes she can't be here, but life happens. Does she have a slide coming next?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Oh, sorry, I'm
It's all
skipping
good,
through
it's all
everybody.
good.
Go ahead.
If you'll see, coming up, you'll see post about a trick or treat event we're going to have for Halloween. So please keep your heads out for that. We plan on giving out sweet treats all over the campus that day, or at least one area. We're also going to try to do a couple of other events as the fall continues. If you have any questions, please reach out to Lee. I know she's looking for committee members as well. So we're trying to just help each other out at this minute. But do look forward to the post that we're going to send.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Mercury retrograde 100, me 0 with technology, so I apologize. Gunnar is up next.
Yeah, I updated the PDL website, that cool website design that you saw at the PDL committee. It's up on the website now, so feel free to check it out. And I worked with Sylvie as well today, and we mostly squared out the travel board. So I'm gonna fix it up later today, hopefully, and have it ready. That's about it.
Awesome, thank you. Jennifer's last but not least.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I had just a couple of updates, and some of our officers have actually shared some of this information, so I'll try not to go over it twice. But like Tandy mentioned, we are getting close to the university's homecoming week. She had already shared the theme, but I wanted to share some specific information about the homecoming parade in the hopes that you, on behalf of your departments, your units, or even organizations you're a part of, might consider participating in this year's homecoming parade. The application to participate is currently live, and the parade is going to take place like it has, with the exception of last year, on Friday of homecoming week. So that'll be October 22nd, and it'll begin at 12 p.m. You can find that registration application on the homecoming website. And while there will be some safety protocols in place, we're really looking forward to being able to offer the parade this year in a safe but in-person format. And so please feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific questions. There is a QR code on the slide that actually will direct you to the full homecoming week schedule. And so that's a place where you can go to find all of the events and activities that are going to be offered throughout the week. And so hopefully y'all will be able to attend a couple of those. We can go to the next slide. And then Kayer actually did a great job giving a shout out to this opportunity for you all. And so again, I'm not gonna talk about this too much, but do just want to make sure that you all know that the health promotion officer training is really a way for you to, really any organization that you're a part of, for them to be exempt from the advisor requirement for events that have less than 250 participants. And so for those reasons, I'd encourage you to attend if you're really looking to increase the flexibility that your organization has in terms of how and when you are operating in person. These trainings are really meant to give you the flexibility to do so. And so I'd encourage you all to attend. Like I said, Kayer gave us a great shout out, so I'm not gonna repeat the information. But Jasmine, if you would go to the next slide. I did just want to share there are a couple of dates remaining, and one of them is actually coming up on Monday. And so there's two in-person opportunities to participate in the trainings, both this coming Monday, October 11th at 12 p.m. in the Hill Student Center ballrooms. And then from there will be two more opportunities in November. We don't know what the university's requirements are going to be in the spring surrounding in-person gatherings and specifically student events. And so know that if this advisor requirement continues to be an expectation in the spring semester, our office will continue to offer additional trainings in the spring, but we'll release that schedule once we know that to be true. And then I think I maybe had one more thing. Yeah, so this is something that, again, I don't always remember to share, but I thought would be relevant for those of you who are members of a student organization. If you utilize space within the Hill Student Center for your organization, whether it be for meetings or events, I wanted to make sure that you all knew that space reservations have opened up, and they actually open up first to student organizations. And so until next, I think I put the date on here, until next Tuesday, so October 12th, UAB student organizations are the only groups that currently have access to reserve space in the Hill Student Center for both the spring and summer terms. And so make sure if you know you're going to need space and your organization is going to need space in the building, to go ahead and confirm that before it opens up for university departments on October 12th. I've hyperlinked a link to the Hill Student Center, to the reservation website, but you can also get there by just going to uab.edu/student center. And so that'll allow you'll just select request a space and you can go from there. But I believe that's all of my updates for this evening. Are there any questions for me?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Are there any announcements? Anyone have anything to announce before we adjourn this meeting? I will share the results from the amended guidelines. Looks like it was unanimously approved. So we will get that good stuff added to the Constitution and taken care of. Thank you all for voting on that. If no one has any other announcements or questions or anything, then this meeting is adjourned. It is 6:04 p.m. And we will see you at our next Senate meeting, which will be November 3rd.
Great. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you later.
Hey, Jasmine, do you mind